Welcome, welcome, welcome to our inaugural annual conference and alumni gathering at the Goldman School of Public Policy. I am so thrilled to be here. And about 6 months ago, our dean, David Wilson, had this brilliant idea of having a conference, bringing us all together in one space. And what you will find today is just the realization of that vision of what does it mean to bring the full Goldman School Public Policy community together. Our students, our staff, our faculty, our alums, our friends, the people that we make impact with in the world. And about 25 years ago, when I walked into math camp to become a Master of Public Policy student, over the course of the next 2 years, I just kept remarking on what it feels to be a part of a community where every single human is there because they want to make the world a better place. It's phenomenal. There's nothing like it. And I feel like that is the energy that we are going to have today, is being in a space with 560 of your best friends who are trying to make the world a better place. So it's been my honor over the past 6 months to work together with a committee, a group of faculty, staff, alums, and friends of the Goldman School to put together this conference. And I couldn't get everyone to wear the same color, but anyone who you see in a bright pink Goldman School shirt today are staff members at the Goldman School who have helped pull off this conference. So if you have a minute, you can pull them aside and say thank you so very much for making today a possibility. And I especially want to call out a very special person this morning, who is Elizabeth Mart. She is our Director of Events, and she is phenomenal, and we could not have done this without her. So please give a big round of applause for Elizabeth Mart. So today we are thrilled to have 25 incredible sessions, panels and discussions, workshops, bringing together alums, faculty, policy practitioners, everyone focused on working together to build a more equitable, inclusive, and just society. I'm also happy to report that today's conference is way over sold out, so that is exciting for our very first one. And we are so pleased to welcome such a diverse group of policy practitioners, researchers, and alums back to campus for the day. This morning, we have several speakers lined up who are going to wow you. First, we're going to hear from Goldman School alum Daniel Lurie, followed by current Goldman School student Kaya Heron, our very own Dean David Wilson, and then finish things up with a few words from Rich Lyons, our Associate Vice Chancellor and Chief Innovation and Entrepreneurship Officer. Thank you, Rich. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Daniel Lurie. Daniel founded Tipping Point in 2005, a nonprofit organization in the Bay Area that finds, funds, and strengthens the most promising poverty-fighting solutions. Prior to Tipping Point, he had worked for the Bill Bradley presidential campaign and the Robin Hood Foundation in New York City. His work at Robin Hood began the week before September 11, 2001, and he spent the next 2 years witnessing the organization's ability to lift up the city through its focused philanthropic work. In 2003, Daniel returned to California to get his Master's of Public Policy here at the Goldman School. As he worked to adapt Robin Hood's model to the Bay Area, Tipping Point community was born. Today, Daniel serves on the board of directors for the Mimi and Peter Haas Fund and the Levi Strauss Foundation, and he was chair of the Super Bowl 50 host committee in 2016, which raised $13 million for community efforts, the largest contribution in Super Bowl history. Please join me in welcoming Daniel Lurie, MPP class of 2005.
Thanks, Anne. That was a long intro. Dean Wilson asked me to be the alumni speaker, and I'll be honest, based on my performance in statistics alone, it's kind of amazing that I actually graduated. And I don't know if you still do this at the school, but I'm just grateful back then they posted grades by student number instead of last name, because it saved me a lot of embarrassment. Statistics aside, I got a world-class education here. I learned a tremendous amount. But if I'm being honest, what I didn't get enough of, and I shared this with Dean Wilson the other day, was I was always hungry and craving for more of a focus on leadership and accountability. What I learned and what I believe is playing out in San Francisco and many other places around this country is that if you don't understand leadership and accountability, I'm not sure you have any business making policy. In 2005, as Ann said, I founded Tipping Point Community to fight poverty in the Bay Area. And you can't fight poverty in this region without really looking hard at affordable housing. One of the things I am most proud of, aside from helping to put hundreds of thousands of people on a path to self-sufficiency over the past 18 years through our work, is spearheading construction of a first-of-its-kind affordable housing building on Bryant Street in San Francisco, a project that came in on time and under budget, about 30% faster and at least 30% lower cost per unit than similar developments. There's no way that would have been possible without Scott Wiener's Senate Bill 35, which allows affordable housing projects in California to move through the permitting process much faster and without CEQA review. But even with the right policy in place, it's easy to get stuck. First, as leaders, we must expand the pool of stakeholders. I grew up with a lot of privilege. I had a lot of doors opened for me. My job, I've always believed, is to bring other people with me, people with experience and expertise that is different than my own. We had private investors talking to community leaders. We had Carpenters Union involved. We created a cabinet of our unhoused neighbors to tell us what could be streamlined and what couldn't be sacrificed. Second, we must establish common goals. The costs and timeline of this project were simply non-negotiable, which made it very clear that the places we could innovate were financing and design. We raised and deployed unrestricted capital to avoid the delays that come with traditional subsidies. So the economics of this project were great, but more important than the traditional return on investment was the social return. Permanently housing 145 of our neighbors faster than ever before was invaluable. Finally, and maybe most importantly, you can't take no for an answer. Especially, and many of you in here have heard this before, especially when the reason people give you is, we've never done that before. That's your cue to roll up your sleeves. The best things I've done in my career started with a whole lot of people telling me that's not possible. That's how I knew I was onto something that absolutely needed to be changed. And too often, ego is mistaken for leadership. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just turn on the news. Policies in and of themselves don't remove barriers to progress. People do. Statistics, maybe not my thing. But getting a group of people around the table who don't normally talk to each other and convincing them to invest their capital, be it social, intellectual, or financial, that I can do. Each of us has something to offer. We have to push beyond what we want for ourselves and be accountable to bringing others along with us. We can't continue to make policies that leave the public behind, which is why I'm so fired up to see this room and 25 different sessions happening together. I'm fired up by the folks in this room, and I know that we can build a better future together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daniel. And now it is my honor to introduce our second-year MPP student, Kaya Heron. Kaya is a Bay Area native, committed to advancing racial equity and community development with comprehensive demographic data. Her work has included implementing the 2020 census, combating voting disinformation and misinformation, improving language access within California's election system, and combating disparities in public contracting for Black small businesses. Before coming to the Goldman School, Kaya had experience working as a nonprofit deputy director, leading an 8-member team providing technical assistance services to underserved Black businesses in the Central Valley. At the Goldman School, her policy research includes reparations, community economic development, and data collection standards. For her spring 2023 IPA client project, Kaya collaborated on data equity metrics and practices within the Possibility Lab and the California Office of Data and Innovation. And over the summer, she interned with the California Department of Finance, analyzing trends in the Department of Justice's legal services expenditures. Please help me welcome Kaya to the stage.
Thank you, Annie. One thing she didn't mention is how short I am. I'm so honored to be here with you all today. And before we truly get started with the day's events, the Goldman School of Public Policy would like to recognize that UC Berkeley sits on the territory of Huichin, the ancestral and unceded land of the Chochenyo-speaking Ohlone people, the successors of the sovereign Verona Band of Alameda County. This land was and continues to be of great importance to the Muwekma Ohlone tribe and other familial descendants of the Verona Band. We recognize that every member of the Berkeley community has benefited and continues to benefit from the use and occupation of this land since the institution's founding in 1868. Consistent with our values of community, inclusion, and diversity, we have a responsibility to acknowledge and make visible the university's relationship to Native peoples. As members of the Berkeley community, it is vitally important that we not only recognize the history of the land on which we stand, but also we recognize the Muwekma Ohlone people are alive and flourishing members of the Berkeley and broader Bay Area communities today. And now I'd like to introduce Dean David C. Wilson, who will be giving his State of the School this morning. David became Dean of the Goldman School in the summer of 2021. He was previously the Senior Associate Dean for the Social Sciences in the College of Arts and Sciences at the University of Delaware, and a full professor in the Department of Political Science and International Relations, with a joint appointment in the Department of Psychological and Brain Sciences. That's a smart man. Dean Wilson's research examines how individuals formulate their political preferences about policy issues and justice, and how social cognition shapes broader survey response behaviors. His research has examined voting and election policy, attitudes and perceptions about technology, beliefs about spanking children, and the effects of perceived discrimination on workplace commitments. He's the co-author of the 2022 book, Racial Resentment in the Political Mind, which is actually being sold out in the lobby here today. Thank you to Pegasus Books. Last is the credentials here. So Dean Wilson earned his BA in government from Western Kentucky University and holds an MPA in policy analysis, a master's in political science, and a PhD in political science, all from Michigan State University. Please join me in welcoming the Dean of the Goldman School of Public Policy, Dean David C. Wilson.
Thank you, Kaya. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Rich, for joining us today. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Kaya, you inspire many of us, and I want to say that I met with you and Jay and Patty last spring, and you let us know how we could make a difference in your experience here at the Goldman School, and we heard you loud and clear, and we've got some things in the works. So I want to make sure that I'm responding to you publicly, because you're a student rep, and you said, you know what, I'm tired of dealing with this. You need to make a change. So we're going to work on it. So thank you for your inspiration, your leadership. All right. Good morning, Berkeley. Good morning. So welcome to the first ever Goldman School of Public Policy Annual Conference and Alumni Gathering. You're making history. This is the first time this has happened. I'm really honored to be Dean of the Goldman School. I am here to serve the campus. I'm here to serve the community. I'm here to serve the state. And of course, as a dean of a policy school that competes with other schools, I'm here to serve the nation and make sure we're all headed in the right direction. But most importantly, I think my service is to you as a community, making sure that we are doing things that actually create the change that we all believe in. And so in my short time here as dean, I've come to believe that change is actually possible, even if it's hard and even if it's uncomfortable. As I look out into the audience and I was coming to campus, I said, wow, we're on the campus of the most influential public university in the world, at the #1 school of public policy, the Goldman School, in the #1 state for innovation and testing new ideas, California. What a way to start our Friday, right? Yeah. We have everything we need. This way? All right. All right, if you're here, regardless of where you work or your background, you're part of Berkeley Changemaking. We're a community committed to impact through scholarly discovery and applied knowledge for the public good. And at GSPP, we have the receipts to prove it. Our students have fascinating backgrounds, and they're charting paths grounded in change-making, and if you read their bios, you can't help but be inspired. Whether you're like Kaya, Fresno, Elliot, or Emily, who are doing groundwork in Oakland, Los Angeles, and Fresno so that they can change the state of those communities, or you're like Fu Yang or Eric, Jennifer, Emily, and Patty, who are each trying to solve some of the grand challenges of sustainability and well-being, our students are the real inputs into the policies that will help make us a better future. They have the audacity to not let walls stand in their way. They build ladders. GSPP students go on to become leaders who are less interested in their status and more interested in their service. GSPP creates a foundational setting for transformative action. We value excellence in service because it instills a deep sense of pride in our work, regardless of whether we win or lose any individual, partisan, or political or policy battle. These individuals represent just a few of our alumni who are doing the hard work of change, and they make us proud. Our alumni also include students who participate in the PPIA program, Public Policy and International Affairs. We've run this program for over 40 years now, and our alumni from 2023 include students like Brianna Bellamy from NYU, Rungsiri Uperdit from Berkeley, and Edwin Santos, who's actually the president of the student body at American University. These students are current and future leaders, and if we're fortunate and we've done our job well in PPIA, they'll become future graduate students and hopefully at the Goldman School. And we're proud of them because they've come here and they've chosen to be change makers on our campus. We also have GSPP alumni who are following in a long tradition of change making in academia. Jesse Harney is now an assistant professor at Colorado State University in the Department of Public Policy and Administration. And I'm proud to say Felix Owusu, who's a graduate of the Goldman School, will be joining our faculty after his postdoc at the Haas School of Business. Is Felix here? He's probably working really hard. Please congratulate these two on all their successes. As some of you may know, getting a PhD involves a lot of sacrifice, and we're proud of our students who come to the Goldman School to get a PhD and accomplish their task of change making. So why does all of this matter? Why are these points of excellence so important? They're important because the world needs more of what we're enabling here at the Goldman School. By leveraging our expertise, our methods, and our values, we create an environment for change making. Today is actually a test of that idea. We've come together to share what we know, our expertise, discussing issues based on evidence and innovation, our methods, and to network with one another to strengthen our community and commitment to our public mission, our values. The Goldman School is more than just an academic department. As a professional school of public policy grounded in scholarly practice, we mobilize the rich intellectual resources of our campus to provide every member of our community, our students, our faculty, our staff, our alumni, with a transformational academic and cultural experience. We learn from one another. These experiences instill standards of excellence and a deep sense of pride in the work we do in our learning community, in our peers, and in the Goldman School at the University of California, Berkeley. What makes the GSPP mission different is our focus on change, our real focus on change. That is, we're providing an opportunity for transformational growth, deploying our assets, things like our research, our curriculum, our talented students, our staff, and our networks, to expand the hearts and minds of those in our community now and in the future. Those are a part of our core values. We focus on pride because it is the secret source of our loyalty. Pride signals something greater than academic productivity. U.S. News & World Report rankings for public affairs graduate programs, they're determined by the votes of deans, chairs, directors, and faculty from 269 graduate programs. We're proud that our peers recognize our efforts to have a national and international impact, and our rankings are great, but they're not the end. They're not what we're working towards. They're a launch point for our ability to innovate. They should push us to think about why we're different, why we're distinct, what makes us so special, especially in the eyes of those that we encounter outside of the campus, and where our true potential lies. One reason why we're special is because we produce change makers who go out into the world with a toolkit for the hard work of democracy. This past spring, we conferred 160 degrees, and this year we're welcoming 220 new students across our degree programs, many of them here this morning experiencing the full influence of the Goldman School for the first time. That's worth celebrating, yes. You can snap and clap. Another reason we're so special is because of our outstanding faculty. We're a community committed to excellence in our work and also care for the scholarship that improves the public good. Experts around the world recognize this quality. Professors Amy Lerman and Hilary Hoynes are new members of prestigious academies. Adam Levy, Avi Feller, Gabriel Zuckman, and Sarah Anzia each received prestigious honors or recognition for their scholarship and promise. People see the work we're doing to create change, and they recognize it and celebrate it with awards. Thank you very much for your excellence. Here's Hillary and others. Thank you. And of course, our very own Annie Campbell Washington. The internet's undefeated. We find all these pictures online, of course. Who is the 2023 Campanile Excellence in Achievement Award winner for her outstanding accomplishments as a leader, a colleague, and a Berkeley Goldman graduate. Congratulations, Annie. Great point of pride. And as chair of this conference, we can see why you were selected as an awardee. Outstanding job. So those are just a few examples of how we go about creating change by investing in excellence and appreciation for service. If this hashtag, GSP Proud, doesn't resonate with you after hearing just a few examples of why we're special, then we have more work to do. In fact, I think we can do more, and I think we can be more. So where are we going? Well, I hear this all the time. Dean Wilson, what's your vision? I envision that the Goldman School will be the leading intellectual community for innovation and change-making in service to California, the nation, and the world. We're not limiting ourselves to just conferring degrees. We're not limiting ourselves to just serving government. We're trying to be a place where any idea can be tested, understood, and promoted as something that's either going to work well or not going to work well. That's what we're building in terms of a toolkit. As an interdisciplinary school focused on developing, analyzing, and promoting courses of action that center on the public good, we must be the home of the most promising ideas, the most committed talent, the most rigorous promoters of social change, and do this all in service for justice, social equity, and a promising future. To get there, we have to revisit and expand who we are, what we know, and where we have our relationships. We must grow in ways that allow us to be a powerful resource for the campus, for the public, and for our academic communities. The growth is already underway. Today we have more space, more faculty, more staff, more students for underrepresented minority, racial ethnic groups, more graduate-funded positions, and of course, more alumni ever in the history of the Goldman School. That's what we're celebrating. It's okay. Are there any first-year students in the room? If you've been here for the past couple of years, you've seen what it takes to create change. And if you're experiencing it now, you're joining the group. But you'll be here next year to also witness what it looks like on the back end. So thank you for your patience. Thank you all for your commitment to what we're trying to build. Since 2021, we've hired 11 new faculty, and we have 3 additional offers currently under review. That's 14, with good math. Could our new faculty either stand, wave your arms, be recognized, yell? Thank you, new faculty. Welcome. And we also have two faculty searches this year, one in technology, governance, and society, and another in the broad study of non-citizenship. And as someone famously said, we're going to need a bigger boat. Jaws movie. So we've had to rethink our space. I talked about expansion and growth. So we've done a lot of redesigning of our interior spaces for our 2 existing buildings. We've moved everybody around, and unfortunately, we're not done yet. But this is going to take a lot of sacrifice. We're all going to experience the pain and suffering, but some walls are worth climbing over, and dealing with those ladders is sometimes tricky. But I really want to thank our staff and our faculty for being so patient through this process. Some of our staff have been without an office for a year almost, so that's not easy, and most people don't understand that gets in the way of them being excellent. But I really appreciate the patience, because we're building something better, and so thank you. We have 2 new buildings under lease at the Graduate Theological Union. GTU 1.0, which we've had for at least a year and a half now, houses some of our faculty, our possibility lab, and one of our classrooms. And we have student space now, just exclusive student space for learning and relaxation between classes. GTU 2.0 has 2 new classrooms, a large event and meeting space, and support additional office space for our staff and support of our research centers. We've also leased the Golden Bear Center. That's over 12,000 square foot of space located at 1995 University Avenue, just down the hill. We envision this space will support our policy research and civic engagement activities. We hope that it will provide a hub for community engagement so that GSPP can have a presence closer to downtown in the community, with access to parking, mass transit, and local government. If you've seen the campus in the last few months, it's under construction. And so that construction is leading to something, and it is the Rhoda Goldman Courtyard. We're undertaking a major capital improvement project that will transform the look and feel of our school forever. Our 2 buildings, 2607 Hearst, the old fraternity house building, and 1893, which is now the administration building, will be joined by this courtyard. The new space will be completed, we hope, in February by this year, we hope. You know how things happen sometimes, CEQA, we talked about CEQA a few minutes ago. But it'll feature prominent signage. Of the first day I tried to find the Goldman School, I couldn't find it. It's embarrassing, but it was COVID. No one was around to help me, so it's okay. Prominent signage, a welcoming staircase from Hearst Avenue, and a proper accessibility travel way for our space. The space will also have tiered seating around a level courtyard, adequate lighting for safety and social activities, and quiet sitting space in between our 2 existing buildings, along with a focal wall as a backdrop for creating and sharing our memories. The east side of 2607, next to the parking garage, will have several communal tables and benches that facilitate a greater level of community building and belongingness. When the entire courtyard project is complete, we'll have the ability to seat, just seat, over 225 persons in the outside spaces, including the ability to fit about 100 chairs in the existing courtyard, now that it's leveled out and sitting like this. Right. Again, these changes will allow us to provide our students, our staff, our faculty, our alumni, the entire community with a transformational experience. That'll be a benefit to our entire community and campus. Growth alone is not sufficient to reach our vision. We'll need greater levels of creativity and boldness. We'll have to undertake endeavors that give us opportunities for change-making, more opportunities for change-making. We need to practice new ways of thinking and doing. We need to learn from our efforts. We need to innovate and take risks and be okay with failure. We need to expand our presence in places that we've not been before. And we need to collaborate and find new partners to help us get things done. Lastly, we need to ensure that we help others understand the value of our expertise, high-quality data, good analytic methods, and uplifting public purpose. We'll need to take our Berkeley to distant lands like Washington, D.C. This is what our very own professor, secretary, governor, President Janet Napolitano, she's a professor too, Janet Napolitano did for us this past spring break. Not only did our students go to Washington, D.C. and engage with some of the highest levels of security in our country, but those leaders who met our students were changed themselves. They now want to actually work with Berkeley. They were not exposed to what we offer and what we do and how our students think. We're actually living the mission. Our students and our faculty are changing government. Our partnerships are growing. We're working with some of the best organizations on and off campus. These partnerships are going to allow us to do more training opportunities for the public good, spur community-based research projects, build both workforce and knowledge pipelines that create a better future. And we're working with even more partnerships that will help us strengthen democracy, forecast threats to our information systems, change how we create new paths for generational wealth in underserved communities, and rebuild nations torn apart by authoritarianism and war. These collaborations help us accomplish our mission and advance our vision. We're really excited about our MDP program, Masters of Development Practice, joining the Goldman School. This is because we need to become more global in our thinking and more international in our focus. We have new faculty, new staff, and a growing set of new students. So I want to thank all of the MDP folks. Is Michelle Riddy in the room? Any of our MDP students here? You're worth celebrating. Thank you for joining the Goldman School. We're proud that you're part of this community, and we're going to make sure that we help you accomplish your missions with excellence as well. In addition to the MDP, we have new degree programs and credentials in early learning sciences and education and security policy. And we're continuing to address some of today's grand challenges by hosting events that bring the best and brightest minds to Berkeley. We have faculty taking on key leadership roles on executive councils of some of the most prestigious associations. And we have faculty and researchers serving in industry and senior advisory roles for industry leaders in our state and national leaders as well. We are living the mission and we're expanding our vision. I want to thank our staff who are always present. You are constantly here. If our faculty are the fuel of the Goldman School, the staff are our engine. They show up every day, including weekends, including for events, ready to serve, ready to make sure that GSPP is running well. To all of you, all of our staff, I'm really proud to be your dean. I'm proud that you show up and you support our vision. Thank you for helping this car run smoothly. Thank you very much. So last year we put together, best with staff, take an initiative, a Future of Work committee. They recommended creating a staff council. They wanted to actually have more agency and empower their future and their ability to learn and grow as staff. The charge of the council is not to be a counterweight to administration or the faculty, but to play a more active role in the excellence of the Goldman School, and I look forward to working with the council. So I'm just happy to say that the state of the Goldman School is strong. You're witness to our story. You're also a part of our community. So what can you do to help? Each and every one of you can continue to be a part of our mission. Continue to find ways to connect your passions with what we do at the Goldman School. Help us find the resources that allow us to do more and be more. We need this to accomplish our mission and achieve our vision. Share your Changemaker story with others. Find a connection to something or someone at GSPP that helped you transform, no matter how big or how small. Seek out Aditi Chung, who came to GSPP interested in economic development and took one class that changed the way she thought about public policy analysis, and now she's writing books and papers about it. Future thinking and forecast. Aditi is living the mission. She's helping us advance our vision. Think about Jeremy Simon, who's making a real difference in the lives of children who live over 8,000 miles away from UC Berkeley. Find Jeremy, ask him about his experience, give him the energy, the support, the encouragement that he needs to keep going. Look for Jennifer Farr Davis, who's accomplished more than most of us in her short life. But she continues to push herself to learn more and do more. And she knows about resilience firsthand, and her presence in the community will strengthen all of us. Find Jennifer, connect with her, build community. And I'd like to thank our sponsors. Paula Zagrecki, is Paula in the room? No. Soria Energy, no? Okay, we'll find her. When you see Paula Zagrecki, I'll introduce you all, each and every one of you to her. She's a great supporter. Todd DePola and trustees at the DePola Foundation, Ali Noorani and the William and Flora Hewlett Foundation, they all had a belief in this event, in this activity, in the Goldman School, and all of you coming here to drive change. So if there's one thing that I hope you leave today with and that you really believe in, and that's that public policy can help us build a better future. It can help us strengthen our democracy. It can help us reform our criminal justice system. It can create a more equitable economy. It can improve trust in government and government trust in the public. And it can help our public university make a difference. Thank you, GSPP. Go Bears. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce Rich Lyons. Thank you, Rich.
Thank you. Thank you, David. Thank you, Annie, Hillary, and all of you here. I'll be brief. Yeah, that's what they all say. Just two quick thoughts, because I know there's a big program here. Thought number one, David and I and many of the people in this room, we get to talk to a lot of faculty, a lot of staff, students, alumni, external stakeholders. There's a through line that runs through all of it. And that through line is even more impact from Berkeley. And so that was implicit in everything that David said, but I want to underline that because, you know, as important as, of course, research, teaching, and public service are, when you talk about the deep why of this institution, if we're going to tether to the mission, the deep why is impact. And the how and the what, profoundly important how and what, are research, teaching, and public service. But the why is the impact. Now, I learned a phrase from David. We were talking the other day, and he was talking about, so I oversee innovation and entrepreneurship on campus, like accelerators, incubators, tech transfer, so forth, right? He used the phrase impact accelerator. I thought, I've never heard that phrase. That's a great phrase. And then when we started riffing together, and we started talking about mission acceleration. I think that's what he's onto. I think that's what you're collectively onto. And, you know, with all the impact that Goldman School already produces, there's mission acceleration in what you're talking about here. So that's point one. I just want to underscore that. Point two, on the change making, Berkeley Changemaker, right? He used the phrase many times. This community uses the phrase many times. I just want to underscore how resonant that is when you put the word Berkeley in front of that word. Berkeley's not the first to use that phrase, but Berkeley Changemaker sings. I challenge you to put any university name, any great research university name in front of that phrase, that word changemaker or changemaking, and come up with a more rhyming two-word phrase. You can't find it. And that's part of what Berkeley's about. So, in fact, at the undergrad level, a team of people put together a course called The Berkeley Changemaker and offered it in the summer of 2020, and with no history, over 500 incoming undergraduates took the course. It exploded. The Berkeley Changemaker category is now a category in what's called the academic guide, which is what students use to find their courses, especially undergraduates. And there are over 25 courses now in the Berkeley Changemaker category within the academic guide. And in 3 years, over 20% of Berkeley undergraduates have taken a course in this Berkeley Changemaker curriculum. And if you say, what defines it? 3 things: critical thinking, collaboration, team skills, communication, especially oral. Critical thinking, communication, collaboration. Anyways, I'm going to stop there. But Dean Wilson, you are on to something. GSPP is on to something. Thank you all.
Thank you so much to Daniel Lurie, to Richard Lyons, to our own Dean Wilson, to Kaya Heron. Thank you so much for being here today, for uplifting us and getting us ready for an amazing day. I so appreciate it. I want to leave you with these words that the people in the room are the right people. And what that means is today you are here for a reason. Everyone is here for a reason. I want to thank you all for being here. You are going to make today an incredibly special day. I look forward to hearing about the collaboration, the communication, the connecting, the learning that you do today, and I can't wait to hear about what comes out of today's sessions. I want to tell you a couple of things as we conclude. You can feel free to grab a cup of coffee or a muffin on your way out. If you are starting to feel a little hungry, there will be coffee, tea, and snacks available from 10 to 11:30 in the Kerr lobby just outside this room. And if you're at the Residence Inn on the 3rd floor outside of the rooms, when you get to the Residence Inn, you'll be going up to the 3rd floor and there will be snacks there from 10 to 11:30 as well. And we look forward to seeing you back here for lunch. Everyone will come back here for lunch and the buffet will open a little bit early, about 11:50 a.m. and we'll get the content starting here on stage at 12:15 p.m. And I wanted to let you know that we have 2 golf carts running between the 2 locations in case you need a little help, but getting those steps in today is also good. But if anyone needs a little help, we have golf carts to take you between the 2 spots. So thank you all so much. Give yourselves a round of applause for getting up early and being here. Have a great day.